What's up, YouTube? My Cowboys family, bringing you guys another update on the Dallas Cowboys. So give us just a second, guys, while we get the technical things set up, and we'll be right with you. All right, let's see. We're just checking the audio now, guys. What's up, YouTube? My Cowboys. Perfect. All right, looks like we are
down a little bit, yeah.
Yep. All set.
A little more.
We don't need to.
Yes, look. I can see that. Quanto. Oh, there it is. I see it.
You see?
What's up, everyone?
And there we go. All right, guys. So how is everyone? I don't know. We see a few people in here, so we'll go ahead and wait a few more minutes until a few more of you guys join us. So we do have quite a few updates on the Cowboys today. So Rajir, how are you doing? What's up? Thanks for joining us. So
yeah. Well, guys, we're going to start it up shortly here. Obviously, like you said, a lot of things to talk about for kind of an off day. Cowboys were back at practice today. You know, the usual grind. Definitely a lot of big things coming tomorrow, since today the Zeke ruling didn't come down. So from the appeals office and from the NFL. So that means that tomorrow is a big day because of the deadline tomorrow. Now I've heard a lot of different times. I heard 2 o'clock. Someone told me 3 o'clock on one of the comments in here.
We've heard, I think, 4:30.
4:30 was the thing I heard from the newest thing, which from the NFL. But basically, if they don't have a ruling set by tomorrow, it's supposed to be that Zeke is going to be allowed to play week 1, which would be fantastic. Obviously, especially against the Giants, you know, we'd be at more full strength, especially in a running game. You know,
that's very big news. So
yeah.
Dallas Cowboys football news. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, guys. Sorry, we had a long day, so we're a little bit tired. But we definitely have to bring you this news here. What's up? Amy can fly. We're gonna bring you this news. And I mean, we're going to start with the Zeke stuff. I just wanted to get a couple more people in here, so we have to re-say the whole thing again. But there's definitely some interesting information. And I guess the Zeke news is not really that big as far as today's concerned. It's more of tomorrow and what's coming tomorrow, basically between the morning and 6 p.m. you know, Eastern time. And that's when we're gonna find everything's gonna kind of come down tomorrow.
Exactly. So Manuel Corona, how are you doing? And yes, so we've heard, like we said, we'd heard from 2 to 3 to 4. So honestly, at this point, I guess we can just say Tuesday, end of business day. Yeah. So
figure 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Exactly.
And then at 5, I think it's 5 o'clock. So it'd be 6 o'clock here. I think 5 o'clock Eastern time. I'm sorry, 6 o'clock Eastern time. I think that the judge is going to have the what's that? The injunction order, you know, or what? It's not an injunction order. It's I always forget the word. It's the restraining order. Oh. The restraining order, which is a technical word that they're calling this. It's really the same thing as an injunction. It just depends on the state I think you're in. What's up? Yeah, it's gonna again. It might be before 4. Yeah. Oh, I did not. I gotta check that out, Dallas Cowboys Football News. I do like your channel. I have seen it.
Thank you, Dallas Cowboys Football News. We appreciate it. And again, we definitely have to check out your channel. Like we said, we've been crazy busy. Today was not a holiday for us.
Yeah, it definitely was a Labor Day.
Yeah. So, and you know, I don't know if anyone knows, but we do live in Southeast U.S., Florida. So we are, you know, the whole state is just kind of preparing for the possible hurricane. So it's been very crazy.
Yeah, Hurricane Irma is on its way. That's another thing we're kind of down about, guys, that we actually, I mean, depending on what happens, I mean, we're going to have problems maybe streaming this first game. And again, of all times, this stupid hurricane is coming.
Has to be now, has to be today, and has to be Sunday.
It has to be that this Sunday, not this week. It could have been Saturday. It could have been Saturday night. It could have been Monday morning. No, it's going to hit where we're at, probably around, if the projections are right, it's going to hit like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, which is 8:30 is game time, guys. And I don't know. I hope we have some kind of signal to stream. I hope we have power. So it's gonna be, hey, what's up, Boomer Sooner? I hope we have.
Hi, how are you doing?
I hope we have like the ability to, first off, for us, watch the game before even streaming it. Yes. We want to watch this game. Obviously, the Giants have been waiting all off season since the Green Bay loss in the playoffs to watch this goddamn first game. So, but this stupid ass hurricane might actually hit Florida. If it does, it's gonna probably hit around Sunday. sometime in the afternoon or evening, and that's where we're gonna get the worst of it. And thank you. We will be careful, but we will be careful. We'll be fine. It's gonna be more of missing the Cowboy game, guys. That's how much of a fan we are. We're everyone's safe.
Yeah, so
no fear there, but it's more losing power and losing because we have different kind of ways of watching the game. We have streaming, which if we lose power, that's gone. Of course, we lose power, everything's gone. But we also have internet. If something happens to that, of course, we can't even stream. And we also have antennas. We have DirecTV. We have a lot of different ways of watching it. But with bad weather, with inclement weather like that, it's going to be, not able to be watched at all. So we're trying to find every single way. So number one, for us to watch the game, even if we can't stream for some reason on Sunday. And of course, number two is to get the stream out to you guys. Game one, Giants, Cowboys, Sunday Night Football reaction and all that stuff. We're definitely going on schedule, guys. It's kind of like Zeke's situation where he was at practice today, guys, in the Cowboys practice like yesterday. Yesterday was more for meetings, but today they actually were a full-out practice. Zeke was basically he was running with the first team as if he was going to play a regular, game, start the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, and I believe Jason Witten also made a comment that he was going to continue practicing, quote, until someone told him to stop, basically. So, he basically until any kind of until Zeke,
no, I'm saying I kind of was confused there, but you said
that Witten said that Zeke. Okay. Yeah, sorry, that Witten said that Zeke would practice until somebody told him to stop. So basically, unless some kind of word comes down from the NFL, which, like we said, should be coming at the latest 4:35, or we've heard a lot of different times from 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So
and that's the thing too, guys. That's the thing. It could come at 8 o'clock tomorrow.
True.
But the key about the 4 to 5 o'clock time frame now, 4:30 time frame, is that if Harold Henderson has not given an official ruling on the appeal and a decision on the appeal by 4:30, supposedly, it's not a rule, guys. Keep that in mind. It's just kind of depressing. It's not a rule that it's definitely going to happen, but the general act is that there's no set rule, but the general act is if basically, I guess 6 days before the game or so, is a deadline, 4:30. Once that passes, even if somebody's in the middle of an appeal, they can still play that upcoming week. And that's what the general actions are from the NFL. We never know what this situation with Goodell and all them. They might just say, no, you can't play. And they probably are in the right for doing that because of the way the CBA bylaws are written. But we're hoping, obviously, that number one, it gets obviously reduced all the way to 0. If not, then he's going to have to take it, if it gets to 2 games even, if he only gets 2 games, he's still going to take it to the court, which will be a couple hours later. With 4:30 is the limit, and let's just say they don't win it. We're back. Guys, we lose you guys? I hope not. But basically, guys, what we're saying about Zeke is that if he's suspended 1 game or 6 games, and the appeal is given, and the ruling is given from the appeal tomorrow before 4:30, we still have to look forward to the hour and a half later ruling from the judge in Plano, Texas, about the restraining order, and if it will allow Zeke to still play. Because if they win that, doesn't matter what the NFL says or does, he's going to play not only the first week, but a lot into the season, and until the judge and the hearing of the restraining order is heard, which could be months in advance. Hopefully,
Are you sure we're connected?
I don't know. Are we not connected, guys?
know.
Guys, let me know if you guys see us. It's green there.
Okay, no. I think we are. Yeah.
Guys, let us know. Give us a thumbs up or something if we're.
No. I think we're streaming. It's just I couldn't verify it. No. It's good. Okay, right. Yeah, it's working now. So
if we're sorry, guys, we're having issues today with this thing. We're okay. Thank you, Regier.
Yeah. So and then I guess we'll go through a few of the comments real quick while we finish getting everything set up. Sorry, guys. Even though there is not a hurricane, we do still have a lot of storms. It's been crazy here. But let's see here. So DirecTV, like we said, we don't just have DirecTV. I do have Verizon as my cell phone provider. So that's pretty much like the worst case scenario, though, guys. There's absolutely nothing worse than trying to watch the Cowboys on a tiny little cell phone. But if all else fails, that is what we're going to do. But we do have different ways of watching the game. We do live in Florida, but guys, we are in a good spot. We should be safe. We're all right. We're stocked up. But we might miss the game, which is probably the worst part.
Definitely. I mean, listen, if we got to go to a sports bar somewhere and watch the game and we'll stream it from our phones, so be it. We'll try whatever we can to get it to you guys. But first and foremost, if everything is closed down in this area, then we'll have to we just got to watch the game somehow.
Exactly.
And we'll do our best.
We'll find a way, guys, somehow.
But we'll do our best. I mean, we got to watch the game first, and then we can try to get our secondary thing is to make sure we get our reactions to the game. Obviously, it's going to be a huge game, and we've been waiting, 8 months for this thing. So
I know.
it's just we really can't. It just sucks that this hurricane happens to going to hit on September 10th, opening day of NFL Sunday football, and of our Cowboys. It's going to hit almost like around the evening time when the Cowboys play their Sunday night game. So it's just absolutely the worst possible scenario, but we'll somehow get through it, and I guarantee you we'll be watching the game for sure, and if we can, we're definitely going to be streaming. The next thing is streaming this, the reaction to the game as it's going on, guys. So, and
I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone who's just joined us. So Eagle Fan, Game with Kyle, 3459 King, Carmen, how about them Cowboys, Zero God, Ice 20, H2O. Thank you guys, every single one of you guys, for joining us. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and hit the little bell next to the notifications so that you guys get them every single day and you don't miss a video or an update. So, and guys, so the projected landfall is unfortunately Sunday at 7 or 8. That's why we're really worried, because it's supposed to hit right close to game time.
Let me clarify. I mean, we don't know when it's going to really hit yet.
Well, projected landfall as of now.
And again, and it's landfall. I don't know. I was talking more of this area, like where we're at. It's because we're not in South Florida. We're in central area of Florida. But the thing is that it could be anything. Things can change. Obviously, it can go out into hopefully into the ocean, and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Nobody has to worry about it. But again, this thing is a Category 4. It's getting stronger. It might be a Category 5, they're saying, or 4 after if it hits Cuba. It's just a lot of things going on, and if it comes this way, it's not just the eye or the power of the storm. It's going to be also the rings around it, which is going to be just knocking out power lines and knocking stuff down. And if we lose power, then we got to go off our phones to watch the game, guys. That's what we're going to be watching the games on our phone. And if we have the other phone charged and ready to roll, we'll be doing like a go live from a YouTube, from our cell phone. So that would be the worst case scenario. But of course, there's a worst case scenario, and that's if we, for some reason we don't have our phones charged, or we miss the end of the game because our phones ran out. That'd be obviously the worst thing. Enough of that, though, guys.
Actually, someone actually asked a great question. So how about them Cowboys? He said, the Kellen Moore resigning made me throw up and is hysterical. Why does Kellen Moore still have a job? Well, guys.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Kellen Moore might actually be re-signed, but we will touch on that more in a minute, guys. So let us go ahead and get through some of this. Yeah. Patrick, come on, dude.
What happened? What is he doing? Yeah, come on, Patrick. Not today. Yeah, I know. We need ice. We need to get a generator. I know, but unfortunately, we got a house and apartment as well. Both are not really equipped to have a generator, especially the apartment, which is where we're at a lot of the time. So. In the house, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, guys. It's no time for the generator. We just did a whole lot of shopping today for water and a bunch of other supplies just in case. We shall see, though. Let me see here. It's going to go through Florida. Yeah, hey, listen, we'll be checking in. This obviously still a couple days still too early to predict when it's going to hit our location. But, yeah, I mean, we know like Saturday night it's supposed to be like right about, like in Cuba somewhere. So if it goes that direction. So that's the case. I mean, it's 24 hours later, it's going to be here. So unfortunately, it would be a bad news on our side of things. We'll be safe. Don't worry. So will our kids. The whole family will be safe. It's just a matter of watching this game, this Cowboy Giants game we're waiting all year for. So now let me go to Zeke. We already touched on him as far as he's at practice today. He was running as if he was with the first team. He will be again. Tomorrow is the big day with the appeal deadline, in the sense of having him play against the Giants this week. If it's after 4:30, he's supposed to be allowed to play. If they do not have an appeal ruling from the NFL, from Harold Henderson on the decision for his appeal for suspension. If that happens, he should be playing. If he does give an appeal and they hold it to anywhere from 1 to 6 games, it still stays. Definitely at 6 p.m. Eastern time, the restraining order hearing, the injunction hearing against the NFL will be occurring around then. So between 6 and 7 o'clock, we should be hearing back on that, and that will obviously be the even bigger news tomorrow evening. If the suspension news comes through, even if it doesn't, it's still going to be important, because let's say they don't give a suspension result. Let's say the NFL doesn't give the suspension decision until Wednesday or Thursday. That would affect them for week 2. The thing is, if the restraining order hearing was upheld, that means it doesn't matter if they give him 6 games or 1. He's going to be playing until this thing is resolved in the courts.
Exactly.
So it doesn't really. So guys, it's that 6 o'clock hearing tomorrow in Plano, Texas, with the injunction is huge. So we really want to keep an eye on both of these things tomorrow. The deadline at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, and then probably I think 5 or 6 is this hearing Eastern time. I think 6 o'clock for the restraining order. If it goes through, he's going to play for a while. So that's a guarantee. Now, but he was playing again. Like I said, he's practicing tomorrow. Even with all these things going down, he's still going to practice, to be at practice tomorrow. He's expected to be there. And we said he has to rule that, he won't be eligible. Let me see here. So yeah, we went over everything about Zeke. So, now we want to move over to Rico, guys. Rico Gathers, which kind of intertwines with Kellen Moore, our quarterback. So Rico Gathers he was put on IR today. We all expected this move. We knew this was happening. We moved, Rico. We kind of had to keep Rico on for 24 hours, which actually we kept on for 48 hours. And then today in the afternoon, they moved him to IR officially. Now, and on the injured reserve list, you can have 20. I don't know how many guys you can have on there, but out of those guys, if you have 5, you can have 2 guys and take them off in 8 weeks. They could come back to practice in 6, and then and then be back at the first game after 8 weeks, which is what they're going to do with Rico Gathers. There's no real need to have him in right now. We have Witten, we have Hannah, we have Swaim. I mean, there's even a chance, and I've heard this is rumors, that we might pick up like an Escobar, maybe put him on the practice squad in case we need another 4th tight end sometime within the next, week 1 to week 8. But after week 8, you're going to see Rico back. If we have any other tight ends, they'll be cut. And, any added tight ends, I'm saying any new guys. And then you'll see Rico back with the lineup week 9. So, guys, just, we made room on our squad. Now, we have 52 guys on our starting 53-man roster. We have 52 guys. So we have an open spot, which, by all, accounts and all information and reports, it's going to be.
I'm sorry?
You're not listening.
So
it'd be Kellen Moore, baby.
Yeah, so Kellen Moore, guys. So I said it earlier, and a few of you guys are saying that you're really happy we cut Kellen Moore. We are all really happy, but it does sound like tomorrow they will officially re-sign him. The interesting part about that, guys, is this is a really strange situation where we don't really know who the backup quarterback is for this team going into week 1. Them re-signing Moore, I think, says that they probably will have him as the backup quarterback, especially for week 1, just because he has the experience and he knows the system. But Cooper Rush still did really well, and he's the one that actually stayed on the 53. So, it's kind of a weird situation, guys.
It's one of the first times you're going to see ever where a team coming into week 1, any team, not just Cowboys, any team coming into a game, week 1, and they have 2 quarterbacks currently. Right now, we have 2 quarterbacks on the roster. We know Dak is a starter. We have Cooper Rush. And the Cowboys have officially not announced the backup yet. That's craziness. Think about it. So we have 2 quarterbacks. Dak is a starter, and we have no backup, even though Cooper Rush is on the team as our quarterback. So when we get Moore tomorrow, he's going to probably be moved into the 2nd spot, at least for this first week, guys. And then we'll see what happens from here on out. But the Cowboys, as we predicted, we're going to try to take Rico Gathers off of the 53-man for 8 weeks and put him on DTR, which is designated to return, injured reserve list. So he'll be back in 8 weeks. But in the meantime, that gives us an 8-week span to keep another guy on this roster. And the Cowboy coaches are in love with, for some reason, Kellen Moore. So he's going to be back on the team tomorrow, officially signed tomorrow sometime.
Yes. So I just want to answer Zero God Lodi's question. I think the suspension will be reduced to 4 games. Even if it doesn't matter if it's reduced to 4, 2, 1, whatever it is. Zeke said it's either all gone or he's taking it to court. So again, the only way that I see him maybe taking any kind of suspension and at the most 2 games is if they explicitly say that they're not doing it because of the domestic violence incident and only because of the St. Patrick's Day incident, the whole Boobgate thing. And even then, I think Zeke would want some kind of a public apology or statement or something from the league clarifying and saying, look, guys, he didn't do this. This isn't why we're he's not being suspended for this, for the domestic violence. If they make it clear and they say a statement, I think Zeke might accept the suspension that way. Otherwise, guys, definitely expect them to take it to court, like we said.
Yeah, and again, if they don't for some reason come down with any kind of 0 game, reduction. Not reduction, but 0 games suspension for him. If they take away all the 6 games, unless that happens, it's already going to court. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if they do it tomorrow, they do it Wednesday or Thursday or Friday or next week, whenever they decide to rule on it, and they don't take all 6 games off. It's already in court, guys. Now, if it goes next week and he lost the court case, I don't know if there's any other options for him at that point. We might have to just take the 6 games. He has to take them and just deal with it. But again, that would suck. But I foresee an issue happening for the NFL the way this whole thing's gone down. So at least he has that as a backup, and it also almost as a threat, also using it to do this case to be heard in Texas, where he might have a better chance than anywhere else. So guys, we'll wait and see. Tomorrow's a huge day when it comes to the whole Zeke saga and the suspension and the appeal and the injunction, guys. So moving.
Big day, and definitely stay tuned to our channel. I just want to say real quick hi to New York Giants for Life, Rodimus and Space Cowboy 17. Thanks for joining us again. Make sure to hit like on the stream, guys, if you haven't already. And subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. Let's see. Cool. They can't change the reason for suspending him. That's legit, the narrative. So, again, guys, expect it to go to court. Simple as that. So, let's go
Unless they take all 6 off, which they won't.
Which would be awesome. I mean, you never know.
They won't, though.
But let's move on to...
I'm going to talk about the guard situation, guys.
Big battle of the left guard.
Yeah, guys, listen. We thought it was already secured with everything, the way that the things went down, the way the whole training camp went down with the injury to Chaz Green. We thought it was kind of secured that Jonathan Cooper was going to be the starting left guard. Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, the Cowboys don't seem to be sold yet, for whatever the reason, whether it's because Jonathan Cooper is not as good as they want him to be, or Chaz Green, they think that he's so much better that he should be starting, that they're making him push for that guard's position. I still like him as the backup tackle because of his unreliability to stay in a game healthy. So, in my opinion, I think Cooper should be the guy. I think he'll end up winning it. Garrett did say today that Chaz Green will be back at practice tomorrow, and he's going to be battling for that spot at guard. Right now, I think Jonathan Cooper has the inside track. I just hope that the Cowboys, it's more of Chaz Green's greatness, I would say, when he's on the field than it is Cooper's, lack of ability to play guard. But again, from what I've seen, and I'm sure a lot of you guys seen the same thing, it looks like Cooper can handle himself with Travis Frederick and Tyron Smith on each side of him. So that's that's going to be an interesting battle this week. And again, the Cowboys have specifically, when they asked, have not decided on a left guard yet to start. Definitely going to be announced this week, obviously, for the game. But we should know soon, especially with Chaz Green practicing this week. You never know; this guy might get injured again, in 2 days, and that would kind of secure it for Cooper. It looks like Cooper's like this far away from securing it, and Chaz Green is like this far away from securing it. So I think it's going to take a lot for Chaz Green to win the spot this week against the Giants. So.
I just want to say I'm not too sure I'm too happy about Chaz Green really starting at that spot anyway, because exactly, Rodimus, you said it, just what I wanted to say. I'd rather have him as a backup for when Tyron Smith is feeling that back pain. I'm sorry, but I think the way things are right now, Jonathan Cooper is good enough at left guard that Chaz Green, and again, if Chaz Green is healthy, it's fine, but he's not, and that's the point. We put him in, and he's gonna break again. I think we need him more at that backup spot.
And that's what I'm looking here at. So, gaming with Kyle. By the way, we do live in Florida as well, so stay safe, Kyle. All right. But yeah, I know you're saying about not trusting him at left guard, but you really have to watch the film. He didn't do as bad as I think people might have assumed he would have done. The first game, he did horrible against the Cardinals in the Hall of Fame game. But after that, watch his film, watch the way he played. Chaz Green is probably the better. He's the 5th best lineman on our team, but he's not the 5th most healthiest lineman on our team, and that's the problem with him. He just gets hurt too often. He's not reliable enough, and if he gets hurt, we put Cooper in and we're fine. But what if something happens to Tyron Smith? Now we have nobody to take that. Maybe a couple snaps. That's the blind side for Dak. We got to really secure that left tackle spot behind Tyron Smith, and I think with Chaz Green's ability, I think that we are in good shape with him there. But at the same time, if we use him as a guard and he gets hurt, and then he could lose him for half the year like we did last year. We lost him after week 3. So who are we going to back up, at tackle behind Tyron Smith? We're going to move La'el Collins out there, and then we have to put somebody else on his spot on the right side. It's just a big puzzle piece that we don't want to have to deal with. So right now, Cooper seems to do well enough, and I really want to see him against the Giants. See if he can really open some holes and block for Dak. I think he can do that with, like I said, the help on each side of him. And Chaz Green, I think he'll just get hurt. Maybe not this game, and maybe it'll be better for him to play this game. But then if he gets hurt week 2, week 3, what are we going to do the rest of the season when Tyron Smith needs a break in week 10? Yeah. And who's going to come in if Chaz Green got a hurt toe again or something? So I don't know, guys. There's going to be a battle, so keep an eye on that. We'll definitely be reporting on that this week. And when they come up with something, announce something about who's going to be starting at the left guard, we will let you know. Another guy that we have has not played at all in preseason, has had 3 games. Three training camp days with pads is Jordan Lewis, guys. Now, he's not going on IR or anything like that, but we heard that he's expected to be doing some stuff at practice this week. Whether or not you're going to see him with the Giants, I personally doubt it. I don't think you're going to see him with the Giants, but I think in a week or two, you might see him start making his way into the rotation, the defensive back rotation.
I'm going to say around week 3. I would say around week 3, 4 is when hopefully we'll have him back, but that's just, from what we've seen, especially if he starts working back into practice this week.
You can bet that, obviously if he's not going to play this game, he'll be on one of the inactives, not on the 46-man active roster for the game. But you will probably see him in the next couple weeks, maybe on the active roster, and maybe see him sometime. Like you said, I agree with you. A third or fourth week will probably be more full-time rotational rather than just part-time rotational, bordering on active and inactive list. But yeah, guys, he probably won't play, but it's a good sign. At least he's out there doing stuff. He's going to be doing more. He did some stuff last week, catching punts. He's going to be doing more stuff this week. So it's a good sign, but it's still a slow progression for him. Another rookie has been injured. Chidobe Awuzie. Now, he's going to, the word is that he's going to probably play week 1. He's going to see the field. I've seen him more like a rotational kind of player or in dime or nickel, even nickel, some nickel defenses. Definitely in dime, you're going to see him. It's not 100% he's going to play, but according to here, he is looking good. He should be playing, but we got to wait and see kind of how the rest of the week progresses. Make sure he has no setbacks. Make sure he's able to be healthy and look good and look like he's still not battling any kind of injuries or slowed by anything, because we need him a full blast out there against the Giants. So keep an eye on that for sure. Yep.
Yeah. No, I see a lot of you guys talking about TJ Ward. We passed on him. Guys, we didn't pass on him. We made an offer on him. He just ended up going to the Bucs, I think. So I think we're not sure what the offer was, why he chose to go to the Bucs, but
you sure made an offer on him?
I think it was the Cowboys, the Bucs, and there were 3 teams that were interested. Again, the third team is escaping me, but I know the Cowboys were one for sure. That, again, at least put an offer. We don't know what the offer was or anything else, and honestly, like we said, it didn't go anywhere. He ended up with the Bucs. Yeah. Can't do anything about that, guys.
Yeah, I mean, what I heard too is that this guy and again, this is what I hate about the Cowboys sometimes with their staff, with their management people and the scouts and stuff. Now they're saying that he didn't really fit our system. He didn't fit the Cowboys' excuse about not fitting the system. Unfortunately, not fitting the system. I don't know about that. I mean, right now, does Jeff Heath really fit our system? I mean, I don't think he fits any system. Yeah. I'm just not a big fan of Jeff Heath. I think it would have been a great upgrade. They just kind of, I don't know if they made an offer on him or not. If they did, obviously it wasn't good enough. And,
Cowboys, Bucs, and Texans. Exactly. So we knew there were 3 teams. Texans, just didn't remember what 3 teams they were. And again, obviously, whatever we offered just wasn't tempting enough.
I just think that he would have been a good fit. The Cowboys staff thinks differently. They said that about a couple players that were like, "What? What are you talking about?" So.
Very surprised.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a downer. Guys, quickly, I just want to say, thumbs up. Give us a like or a thumbs up or whatever it is on this YouTube thing.
Yeah,
it makes the video.
Subscribe down below as well, and hit the little notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates.
Yeah, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit like or thumbs up, whatever. It gets the video out there more. We already grow. Today we just got like a whole bunch of new subscribers. We didn't get to put a video out. So again, it must be making the rounds. We appreciate it, guys. We want more comments, more knowledge from football fans, but especially Cowboy fans. All of you guys are welcome. And just throwing us, the more people we get on here, the better it's going to get, guys.
Yeah, so we have a great time with all of you guys here, and thanks for joining us. So let's keep it moving.
Yeah, now I'm going to say here, guys, now I'm going to go over our pickups. Actually, before we do the pickups, let me talk about one more major guy on our offensive line, Zach Martin, guys, number 70.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so the thing was that earlier, a couple of weeks ago, we were thinking Zach Martin's going to be, they were working on a contract extension, very important. We locked up, Travis Frederick. We locked up Tyron Smith. We signed Lel Collins for two extra years, extension, 2 more years. So, guys, we got everybody kind of locked up except for Zach Martin. And right now, Zach Martin, he was in the middle of contract talks with us, with his agent or whatever, this whole training camp. And then yesterday, he said, doesn't look like it's going to happen yet before the season starts. Maybe they're hoping to get it before the season. Today, I read an article that said Zach Martin is completely done with the talks for now. He's just he wants to not have this hanging over his head. He just wants to play the season. And then they'll talk about the contract towards the end of the season / at the end of the season. Yeah. Which I understand his viewpoint. That's kind of scary, though, for all those Cowboy fans. Because, if he becomes...
He's looking for that money.
Well, I mean, we shouldn't be... Of course he is.
We might lose him, and that's my fear.
We won't lose him. We won't lose him. We won't lose him because it's something called the franchise tag, guys. And the franchise tag is going to keep him on this team. The problem is he'll be an unhappy camper, and he'll be looking I mean, he can still sit out if he wants to. I mean, people have done that and sat out a whole season. So, that kind of stuff is bothersome to think about if that can happen. The fact that other teams will be throwing money at him and the Cowboys franchise tag him, they're not going to let him go. But we want this thing resolved. Right now, if I wrote my notes right, he's getting paid $9.3 million a year. He took he had an option this year. He took the option for the $9.3 million to play this year, knowing that next year he's going to become a free agent. Now, puts the pressure on the Cowboys to get a deal with this guy. We need him, guys. Right now, the number one guard in the league is for the Browns. I forgot his name, but he's getting over $12 million a year right now. So, Zach Martin's going to get more than that. I'm looking at him getting 14 or 15 a year, guys. The other guy, the Browns guy, got $31 million guaranteed. I mean, they're going to have to give Zach Martin at least $40 million guaranteed and probably give him $15 million a year, guys. He's worth it. We need him. He's probably the best guard in the league. Like I said, those three guys, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, and Tyron Smith, they're going to be 3 Hall of Famers in Canton, guys, with the gold jacket.
All from Big D.
Yeah, and all on the offensive line. You got to keep them on there. We need some Super Bowls, and I think they're all in. You know what I mean? But, guys, Zach Martin, unfortunately, contract talks with him have stalled. When it comes to an extension. Now, of course, we have him for this year for $9.3 million, but we need to sign him. He's going to cost us over 12 for sure.
Yeah.
Wait, we'll see what happens, but probably not much more news on him until towards the end of the season or after the Super Bowl when we win the Super Bowl.
So I do definitely expect him to ball out, so to speak, because he definitely does have something to play for. If he, does his job even better than last year, he has something to add to that big price tag.
Yeah, is it even possible to be better than last year?
He's got to try. That's the point.
No, the point is that if he stays the same, even goes down a little bit or is better,
exactly.
He still has to get that over $12 million extension. Long-term contract to sew him up for a long time for to be a rock on our line with the other 2 guys and whoever else is on there. I say 2 guys. Lil Collins also, but he's only for 2 more years after this one. Yes. But if he produces in these 2 years, they'll do the same thing with him if they need to. And they're all young. Tyron Smith's the oldest one. He was drafted when 19 or 20 years old, the youngest guy ever drafted in the NFL. So our line is going to be lasting another 5 to 7 years intact with our best guys.
Yeah, so guys, it's Super Bowl time. That's all I gotta say.
A couple questions because
let's go ahead and go through some of this. So I think Matt Jones is also a good trade bait for Shallow Hal for Zeke. If not, I like him. Oh, I think you guys are talking fantasy there. So Space Cowboy 17, you guys hear about the New York Giants coach Ben McAdoo? He said that, quote, all backs are the same when there's nowhere to run. I guess so. Yeah, but the thing is, they still couldn't stop Zeke. I mean, for the most part, they did, but God, it's so. I'm sorry, just that game was so close. We lost by 1 point.
Yeah, but let's see. If you remember the stats in that game, unfortunately, the Giants did stop us.
Well, look, the first game, it was his first game, so I don't want to say I don't count it, but it was his first game in the NFL, so I think we had to lower our expectations appropriately, especially against, one of the best defenses in the league. But the second game...
Well, yeah, what about that one?
He ran for...
He didn't do that well. No. He didn't do that well either in that game, guys, because it was a tough defense. We have to go behind. We're playing a game where it's very... Obviously, Dak threw a pick in that game, and he didn't throw many last year. It was a tough, hard-fought game. And, again, I think a lot of cutesy crap plays that Lenahem called last year is why, we didn't use Zeke enough in that game. I think we should have kept pounding with Zeke. And in time, you will break through that line. I know the Giants have a very good defense, but we had to keep trying. And we got away from the running game in the second game. First game, we were trying to catch up. So when you're trying to catch up, it's going to be hard to just pound the ball, and you got to get points.
First game as well. So actually, I want to throw out a question to you guys and let me know, do you feel like the Cowboys in general should run Zeke more? Because that's something we've seen from their offense in general. I think they need to run Zeke more, and they don't run him half as much as they should. Right. So let me know what you guys think about that later.
And I agree with Space Cowboy. I agree with you that they're waiting to the end of the season to sign him. Well, at least I think they wanted him signed now, the Cowboys. I think Zach wants to focus on football. The Cowboys want him to focus on football. It was more on Zach Martin's side where they said that he kind of wants to just not worry about it to the end of the season. I'm not really too worried about it, especially with the franchise tag. Probably don't want to waste the franchise tag if we can help it, if we're going to sign him anyways. But it'd be nice to get him signed up before he goes on the market, guys. Let's see here. As far as McAdoo and firing shots to bias, I agree. I mean, that's good. I'm glad he said that, guys.
Bang, bang. See you in Dallas.
I'm glad he's doing that. And, guys, listen, we got McFadden out there. We got Morris out there. If we don't have Zeke, we're still going to be okay. We got Rod Smith out there. We're still going to be okay. And we still have that offensive line, guys.
Yeah.
Let them say what they want. Let them feel like they're going to beat us. We like that. We want to have full strength, too. Let me see here.
I want want to say just how about them Cowboys? The Cowboys should use Zeke more in the passing game. That's where I'm actually really excited to see. If you remember any of our videos earlier from training camp, where we did see Zeke practice, we saw him doing a lot more work in the backfield, and it was just really exciting to see him because last year it was really effective and he looked dangerous in practice. So definitely expect to see Zeke, catching a lot more, being more of a receiving running back. And I think you predicted that he would be in the top 5 this year, if he plays all the games. Yeah. So obviously, if he's suspended,
top 5 as a running back that catches the ball in the backfield. Last year, he was like 26th or 27th. They really didn't use him that much. Imagine if they used him just double the times in the passing game. And again, guys, a lot of the things we saw in training camp, not really the preseason, but more training camp, we saw a lot of these little plays they're using, whether it's Cole Beasley, whether as a third down back, Ryan Switzer as a third down back, or Zeke back there catching the ball on second down or first down, whatever, but using him out of the backfield. The Cowboys are trying to incorporate that running back / scat back, could even be like a slot receiver kind of player, in quick passes and getting him down the field, getting that ball down the field, having the offensive line block for him on screens. That's going to be, that's going to be a big change, I think, this year when Zeke's in the game, and if he plays the whole season. I think he's going to definitely be not necessarily top 5, I think top 10. Yeah. He'll definitely be a top 10 receiving back this year.
So real quick shout out just to Elite Aubrey. Thanks for joining us. Mr. Wright, thanks for joining us as well.
Both you guys always providing good stuff here. Tobias saying that about, you like Zeke with 20 carries. Then I see Alid saying no, too many carries. I'm kind of in between that because last year the Cowboys, if you recall, second quarter, almost every time when we started the ball, on the second quarter, we always benched Zeke, and that was to limit his hits, to limit his. We have such decent running backs back there. We could afford to give him a breather, and get him out there when towards the end of the third and fourth quarters. There, he's in there full time, all 3 downs. But he's going to catch the ball more. He's the best blocking running back that we have on our team. He's the best receiving running back we have on our team. He's the best all around running back we have on our team, and that's the key. He covers what the other 3 guys do. What Rod Smith and what Alfred Morris and what Darren McFadden do, he does what all 3 do. And that's why he's special.
Did you see what Kyle said? Too many carries could lead us to Super Bowls. Exactly. I mean, what's the point of having a weapon like Zeke if you're not going to use him? Definitely be careful with him. Don't push him harder than you need to. But holding him back because of some weird, we want to make him last as long, push him to his biggest potential.
Well, again, but I understand that we had Marion Barber, a great running back, and he was used so much that he was broke down after 6 years, guys. I mean, it is something to think about. Now, I see that, how about them Cowboys said about you want 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. That's not going to happen, guys. He's not a 1,000-yard receiver, right? I know you want to think big things, but it's not going to happen. That's your prediction. How about them Cowboys? Good luck. I would take a bet under the receiving yards and over the rushing yards because he's going to definitely get over 1,000. He's going to get under 1,000. He's going to get over 1,000 rushing and under 1,000 receiving. But he might get like 600 or 700 receiving, and I care about how many touches he has on the receptions, and what kind of screens and kind of plays they incorporate using him in the offensive system as just another weapon in the passing game, which is Owen can help us. Now, let me see. I know you thought the deal was going to get done today. You don't want to overuse. Rodas says you don't want to overuse Zeke. I agree with that. I just hate when we use. I don't mind using McFadden or Morris for, let's say, 3 or 4 plays, and then throw them back in. And then in the second half, use those guys a couple plays, and then throw not a whole drive. A drive can be a 5-minute drive, a 10-minute drive. I'd rather have Zeke get in that flow, giving hits, blocking. Yeah. Even as a decoy, you can still use him in there, guys. So we'll see. Ignore either way, but yeah, right now, if we need him, he needs his ass out there, and the coaches need to stop getting cutesy with stupid play calls and get him on the goddamn field and let him block, let him be used, let him go after, let him put 8 in the box, and we have 4 receivers that can catch the ball, 3 receivers and a tight end. So let them all come at Zeke and just play action. We got easy first downs, easy 10, 12, 15 yards every freaking play if we want to.
I mean, Dallas Cowboys for Life makes a very good point. When the Dallas Cowboys were winning Super Bowls, Emmitt Smith carried the ball 25 to 30 carries a game. I mean, guys, that's a significant amount more play time. If Zeke was carrying the ball 10 more times in a game, imagine
that can change a lot more things.
Yeah, that's a game changer.
Now, guys, and also, when Emmitt was doing that, and it was a run for. I mean, that was one of the things you got. Everyone always talks about Barry Sanders, and he was like watching compared to Emmitt. He was obviously a more flashy, cooler, nicer runner to see run. But when you talk about everything about running back, Emmitt Smith was a better receiving back than Barry Sanders. He was a much better blocking back than Barry Sanders. He was a much more, per carry player, where Emmitt would get a bad day, it'd be 80, 90 yards. While Barry sometimes would get a negative 4-yard game. Like I've seen him get a negative 4 yards in one game because they were down too much. He dances around a little too much, and they just corralled him. I'm not saying, look, trust me, pure runner, Barry's probably one of the best I've ever seen. But Emmitt Smith, he took the hits. He sustained health throughout his career, guys, and that is the key to being also one of the best, if not the best running back in the history of the NFL. Now, I do think that Rod Smith, like Bobby J. Johnson says, Rod Smith, along with Morris, if he's on for, depends how long, and McFadden can help us, along with Zeke when he comes back, assuming he's suspended from some games. So I think we're good at running backs, guys. Yeah. We're going to be fine. And I agree with Mr. Wright. We don't want the running backs to get 1,000 yards receiving. We have 5 guys that can get 1,000 yards receiving on our team. So, I stick with those guys.
Yeah, I think that's another reason why Zeke won't really get overused. We have so many offensive weapons, guys. We're going to use them all. So it's, Zeke just happens to be, one of the biggest, one of the best, one of the greatest ones. So, but guys, our whole offense is just insane.
Mr. Wright's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's all about Trump. I think you're talking about Trump.
But, guys, let's go ahead and finish up now because we do have two.
Wait, look, we have Dak Prescott in the game.
Hi, Dak. How you doing?
I think that's Steve Scoggins, if I recall. I don't know, that's the same picture, but all right.
But, yeah, guys, let's go ahead and talk about our 2 pickups from Green Bay.
Yeah, we will talk about them in a second. I just want to lead. I'll never forget that game. My dad was still alive during that game, and we watched that game. My dad said, and he's watched the Giants.
His shoulder?
Yeah, that's the game that the Cowboys had to play the Giants for either first place or the loser would drop to 4th seed. It was a huge drop, or 3rd seed. The point is that you would lose home field advantage throughout the whole playoffs, and that's what got us to the Super Bowl that year. Really, that game, Emmitt Smith played with a separated shoulder for like the second half of that game. I mean, it was painful. He battled through it. Luckily that the fact that they got that win in overtime, was huge because my dad said he's a Giants fan. He's been around since like Frank Gifford and before that. I thought about the 40s and 50s. My dad was watching the Giants. He's never seen a performance like that at that time. He passed away, unfortunately, like a year later, but he had never seen a performance like that by a running back in his life. He said that was the best he's ever seen. That's big coming from somebody who's watching the Giants for his whole entire life. Yeah. And, Emmitt Smith did something unbelievable in that game. And, again, basically single-armed won the Super Bowl for us in a way because that gave him a bye week, which then got him good for the game against in the playoffs. Like I think it was the Packers, and we beat everybody and we won the Super Bowl. So it's Niners and the Super whatever. The point is that was a huge thing for Emmitt Smith, and that is a true Iron Man right there. And I think Zeke can do that. I mean, unless you're talking about some kind of like broken leg or torn ligament, I think Zeke's gonna he's as solid as a rock, guys. And I do have confidence keeping him in there and pounding the ball as many times as needed. 20 times a game, it should be a given that Zeke could get at least the ball 20 times. So. 25 would be a limit, I think. You don't want to see him anymore with that because then you're risking a brutal injury or slowing him down for his career. Yeah, so I do agree with that.
Elliott, you do make a good point. We do have 3 other backs that we can use, and we definitely want them on the field, not just, to give Zeke a break, but like I said, we're stacked on wide receivers. Everyone's kind of going to get their shot, but I'm still disappointed in the fact that there were critical times we should have run the ball, and not just run the ball, but run the ball with Zeke. And I feel the Cowboys failed to do that. I think maybe that's the bigger problem. Linehan needs to make better play calls. If we're not going to use Zeke as much, at least the time when he's out there, make them the best, most critical times. Use him when we actually need him. Yeah. Don't just throw in Joe Schmo, whoever. Throw in Zeke when we need him.
Yeah, I agree. And again, Rodas, you and me, same here. We're seeing the same thing. I mean, that was like I could watch that game again and just sit back and enjoy it just as much. Dak Prescott, thank you for being ready. You got to be ready out there for us. So free Zeke for sure. Now we're gonna move on to the last part, like you were saying about our pickups from yesterday, guys. We had 3 pickups yesterday, and Ben Wickery, he's the cornerback we picked up when we basically in place of Marquez White, which we got on practice squad, so it wasn't a loss there. But this Ben A guy, we gave up he has to play 4 games in a game this year on the 46 active squad. And if he does that, then we lose a draft pick in 2019 in the 7th round, I think, right?
So, guys, I think that's an excellent deal, like we said, for what they were looking for in replacing Marquez White. Some depth, some experience there.
He's not great, though. He's far from good. Yeah, he's far from much better than Marquez, but he's probably a little bit better. Yeah, and that's he's probably a replacement for Duke Thomas. Maybe a little beher than Duke Thomas.
Yeah, so, and honestly, at the end of the day, because we got him so cheap, we got a great deal. That's the direction the Cowboys chose to go in. Hopefully either Marquez White, somehow blows it up, continues to improve, or Duke Thomas heals.
Next
Yeah.
year.
So hopefully we'll see him back next year playing great.
Luke Thomas is on the IR, guys, so he's gone for the whole year, but at least he's still kept on the team. Leon McFadden was on the team. We cut him and had a settlement. And again, that number 23, Leon McFadden, now it's going to be Ben Wickery, whatever his name. Yeah, so he's now number 23, just so you guys know. Now, this guy, Brian Price, guys, the defensive tackle, that basically was the replacement for Cedric Thornton. Yeah. No, he's now taken over Cedric Thornton's number 92. Yeah, so it's easy to remember these guys. And he's supposedly gonna have an immediate impact, guys, because as a rotational backup player to Stephen Paya and to Malik Collins. Yeah, he's supposed to play week 1 because we're so thin there. We have no real depth because of Irving being gone, suspended. Crawford maybe not being 100% still, with his ankle injury. So we're going to see more of that. But he's going to be used in this upcoming game against the Giants. Yeah,
and I think the Cowboys also said that they do see picking up Price and releasing Thornton as an upgrade at that position. Yeah. So that's
very surprising, but
it
must have seen something.
Makes us, obviously we're looking forward to seeing him. Hopefully we see what the Cowboys have seen, but at least that's what the Cowboys are seeing now. Right. And we'll get into that.
Right. I mean, the thing is that he's, the analysis on this Brian Price, defensive tackle, now he's number 92, so replacing Cedric Thornton basically. And guys, this guy he played one game. And he's a practice squatter. So I don't, even with all that stuff, I'm not going to have that much confidence in the Cowboys staff necessarily all the time when it comes to these guys. Because right now, when I'm this Benny guy and this Brian Price guy, honestly, they seem to be guys that are just short-term bridge players just until we get some other things going. When we get some guys back, these guys will be cut. I don't see us really giving up a draft pick at all for this Ben Wickery, because I think he'll be gone sooner than later. And then Brian Price, he might be used a couple times. Now with him, I think we actually did. We just picked him off of practice, off the waivers when the Packers released him. But another guy, Jaron Elliott, who is from the Green Bay Packers, he's a linebacker guy. So he's kind of like a Kyle Wilber style guy who could play defensive end or a linebacker. To me, he's the best of the 3 pickups. He's going to be number 56. So just remember Lawrence Taylor, I guess, if you guys remember that far back. 56. He'll be, he took Lenny Jones' number, but he'll be playing, and again, he's going to be contributing on special teams, but especially I think until Devontae Moore gets back, I think you're going to see him playing a defensive end or a linebacker in the Deacon defense when we have a 3-4, and he's going to be the linebacker, that 4th linebacker, but he's going to be playing on the line as a defensive end or as a rusher. He actually has some really good pass rushing skills. He seems to be more of a defensive end styled player, even though he plays linebacker. Yeah. So guys, he's going to provide depth. I don't know how much you're going to see him this week, but I think you might see him a couple times in the beginning of the season until DeMontre Moore and Irving come back. But I do think he might give us a little bit more of a pass rush. We'll see. I got to wait and see what comes from him. But just to clarify with him too, guys, because we traded for him too. We did trade 2 guys. We traded for Ben Wickery, which again, if he plays 4 games on the 46-man active squad this season, then that's if he doesn't, we don't give any draft picks up. If he does, we give up a 2019 7th round pick for this guy from that was for the guy from the Bengals / Carolina Panthers. Yeah. But Jaron Elliott, the linebacker / defensive end, number 56 for our team. Who's going to be a pass rushing guy? He has to be on our 46 man active roster 3 times. So Benny is 4 times or no draft pick, and Elliott is going to be 3 times or no draft pick, and the draft pick we'll be giving up is next year, 2018 7th round pick. So basically 2 7th round picks, 1 from 2018, one from 2019. The 2018 guy from the Packers, Elliott, has to play in 3 active rosters for this season, or we don't give anything up. And that Ben Wickery has to play in 4 active 46-man rosters, or we don't give anything up as well. So, guys, it's basically just the money they're paying, probably minimum stuff. These guys, again, if they don't show anything in 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to see them cut from the team, probably to make room for Irving, for Moore, and anybody else who might have to get back there if it's a Zeke situation or an injury when Hitchens comes back. Or or Gathers, Rico Gathers. We don't know what's going to happen with Kellen Moore, when all this stuff happens in the middle of the season. But as the season continues, you're going to see all these guys dropping off. But for now, they're going to be here for week 1, guys, so be ready for that. Yeah, our base is the 4-3, guys, just so you know. We play a 4-3 all the time. We do have a defense that it's called Deacon. The Deacon defense is a 3-4, but it's really the 4th linebacker is the rusher. Jalen Smith. Actually, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Anthony Hitchens was the guy who was the 4th linebacker who was going to be playing that rush. Obviously, he's not there anymore. This guy could help us in that position. They also have used Jalen Smith in that position as well, so keep an eye for that. But I think they're trying to not use Smith so much right now at the beginning of the season, hence why we have this guy who's like a Kyle Wilber, maybe a little better than Kyle Wilber is, but also plays special teams, will contribute. Active or not, I don't know this week, but we'll see what happens in practice. This guy's, he has some potential at least. We shall see what happens. Now, let me see. I'm trying to see. Yeah, that's pretty much all the big news from today, guys. Of course, the Zeke thing is the biggest of all news, in my opinion. And, tomorrow is the big day. We were expecting to hear maybe something today. I know that Roger Goodell in the NFL put huge amounts of pressure on Harold Henderson.
Yeah, to have a ruling by today, 5 o'clock, I think, or he just wanted a ruling today. Yeah,
because he didn't want it to go to tomorrow and then risking Zeke playing week 1. Roger Goodell really wants to, just really control the situation, and right now it's kind of out of his control a bit. No real big new news from any kind of testimony that we already went over yesterday from Zeke and all that stuff he talked about at the appeals hearing under oath. So, it's just kind of a wait and see. Like I said, Zeke was in practice today. He practiced yesterday at team meetings. Practice today, full contact, playing with the first strings, playing, as if he was going to play and start week 1 against the Giants. So that's good news. And he said he's going to do it, like you said, he's going to do it until someone tells him not to do it anymore. So whether it's the NFL or the Cowboys or whoever it is, he'll be taking first team snaps, first team reps, and playing like he's ready to go for this upcoming game against the Giants. Tomorrow is the big day, though, guys. Tomorrow before I heard 2 or 3. What we're hearing now is 4:30. Tomorrow before 4:30 Eastern time, if the NFL does not hand down a ruling on the Ezekiel Elliott appeal to his suspension, whatever the decision is, it has to be by 4:30. If they give no ruling yet by 4:30, that's going to make Ezekiel Elliott eligible and definitely going to play. He should definitely be playing this Giants game. It's not an official rule that he will play, but it is the way things have generally been handled in the NFL. But as we know, with Roger Goodell at the helm, things can always change when he's doing his dictatorship. And you never know that he might say, no, in this situation is a special circumstance, he can't play. Who knows? And he might be in his rights to do that, Goodell, because the CBA might give him that authority. So we have to wait and see really before. I don't want to confirm that for sure. But more important than the league, because we know the league and Harold Henderson and Goodell, they're not going to take away all 6 games. And unless they do that, that's the only way this is going to not go to court. The bigger thing is later on tomorrow afternoon, after 4:30, around 6 or 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, we should know the ruling by a judge about his restraining order against the NFL, basically suing the NFL, basically putting an injunction order against the NFL to stop any kind of suspension, 1 game or 25 games. It doesn't matter. This ruling that comes down tomorrow from the courts in Texas will determine whether or not he'll be able to play not only the first week, but the first bunch of weeks and into the season and into who knows how long. So we have to wait and see. Of course, what I would hope for is that they bring it down to 2 or 1 games. That would be the best thing. Have them issue an apology saying, okay, they're not going to, like someone said. So, they probably can't change that now. If they can't change that and they say it's still domestic, but you get 2 games, Zeke's going to still take it to court. But at least if he loses this, he's done everything he could do. If he loses the injunction, and even if he has to serve it, at least it'll only be 2 games. We don't want Harold Henderson leaving it at 6, and then if he loses it week 10, he's out to the playoffs. That would make a major hurt for our playoff run if that's what happens. So, a lot of things are in play. Obviously, we want first and foremost, we want the suspension down to 0 if possible, but if not down to 0, as low as possible in case it has to be served 1 day. And number 2, same thing. This is part 2 of tomorrow. Is going to be that injunction restraining order from a judge in Plano, Texas. If they rule in his favor, all it means, it doesn't mean he won. It just means that they're going to review this and they can't. And it basically is a stay on his suspension. It's basically like a stay on execution. It's kind of like that. They got to withhold any punishment from the NFL until the courts and the law actually looks in to see if the NFL handled this procedure correctly and handled everything without hiding evidence, which looks like they did do some of that actually defamed him. So that kind of stuff can really go into Zeke's favor. And again, if he wins this, in the end, let's say by week 13, the judge says, you know what, Ezekiel Elliott, you were right. They defamed you. They did this. It was not right what they did. And then now we're gonna scrap they could actually overrule the NFL and say no games, and then Zeke will get no games. Brady tried that and he didn't succeed, and he had 4 games. They didn't reduce it. He took it to an injunction. He won the injunction, and when they reviewed it after 10 months, they said no, the NFL was right. We reviewed it in and out, and now you have to serve your suspension, which he did, and then they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the Ezekiel Elliott case is obviously a somewhat different scenario, guys. So things could obviously, and again, the evidence is, I would say, on Zeke's side. As far as the domestic violence claim.
In a court of law,
in a court of law. So, yeah, so obviously, guys, we'll have to just kind of wait and see, but definitely stay tuned for any news tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, if you guys have any other things you want to ask us about or let us know. Yeah, the thing about Lucky Whitehead, we talked about it yesterday. Unfortunately, how can you keep a guy who's going to be on your team that's doing that to one of your teammates, especially to what he's going through, guys? That's just a very low move by Lucky Whitehead. I'm glad. I never liked him as a player per se, in the sense that he just wasn't. He fumbled a lot. He didn't do much. I mean, he barely. I think he got 1 return for a touchdown in his career with the Cowboys. Either way, he just never really performed with us, like you said. He's been lackluster. He's missed practices. He's missed meetings. He's been suspended by the Cowboys last year for missing a meeting, and then of course last year with Cleveland, he was with Ezekiel's harasser, I guess you would say, the accuser, but I say she's the harasser of him because she would not stop harassing him, whether it was during his birthday, when she had a fight, whether it was, calling his phone 20,000 times or whatever it was, 50 times I think it was, from 2:30 till 8:30 in the morning, 3 months after he supposedly beat her up, and she was begging for him to come back or whatever it was, and he had to get her trespassed, had to call the cops, and had to fill out a report, which there is one, 3 months after her accusations. And then on top of that, a couple months later, in the Cleveland game, when we played last year, Lucky Whitehead is with his ex, this crazy woman who's trying to ruin his life. And Lucky Whitehead would do something like that? I mean, that's not smart. He's an idiot. And plus, you got to remember, his dog was stolen from him by somebody watching, by an ex-girlfriend. Was it Tiffany Thompson?
A little crazy. I don't know. It could be.
I still want to hear what happens with that. He's off. He's basically like, he was like aborted today because yesterday he was like aborted. He aborted himself from the internet. He took himself off Instagram, off Snapchat, off that crap. No more Twitter. You don't see no Lucky White anyway. He was cut. He has injured, and now he has an injured soul now because I think everything he's done is just low class, low blow. I don't like that at all, guys. I mean, what a scumbag.
So, guys.
Lucky is not too lucky anymore.
Yeah. Let's see. How about them Cowboys? You definitely got a steal with Matt Jones. So lucky you. Enjoy some of those.
Who got
he
him?
Traded. Who was it? Robert Wood. Yeah, Robert Woods for Matt Jones in our fantasy league. So
no, I know that. But
he said,
who picked up Matt Jones? I forgot who picked him up.
So I'm not sure, but then he said, any chance Cowboys go after tight end Gary Barnidge or Gavin Escobar? So we did say that Gavin Escobar might actually end up back on our practice squad, guys.
We'll see. I mean, I just heard a rumor about him because he knows our system, and because we know Rico Gathers, our 4th tight end, which I don't know if we really are going to need. But Escobar is not really a blocking guy; he's more of a receiving guy. But he never really was that good. So you have Gary Barnidge, who actually did play well for Cleveland. He actually looked okay, but again, he's been replaced. He's been cut. I don't know if we're going to really go out. He's going to be too much money. He might be. I don't know what his cost is. It really is going to come down to a need situation. And the reason we did this with Rico, we probably could have had him on the inactive for a couple weeks, but we didn't really need another tight end. We have Witten, who's our all-around guy, and we have 2 blocking tight ends for basically 2- and 3-man tight end sets to show runs and to have extra blockers in there. I mean, they could also catch at times if need be. It's not really a necessity. It's not really a need. It'd be a nice upgrade, a nice want, a Rico developing throughout the season. But again, guys, he has the whole second half of the season to develop now. He's going to be back from the concussion after week 8, ready to roll. He's going to miss 7 games, basically, because after week 8, you have a bye still in the first 7 weeks. So he'll be back after week 8, and, he'll play the last 9 games of the season, guys. So, we'll see what he can produce and what he can do on the field out there. Let me see here. Tomorrow, exactly, Tobias, huge day tomorrow. Big day tomorrow, a lead. You both, I mixed it up, but you know what I'm talking about. How about them Cowboys? Any chance? Okay, we talked about that already.
Yeah, so Sixers JT Holloway, thanks for joining us,
What's
guys.
Up? Guys, again, we haven't said it enough. Hit like or thumbs up on the stream, guys.
Make sure to subscribe down below.
Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Hit the little bell for the new people here to get our streams. We're definitely gonna be putting up the next. That's the only thing we have to talk about. Probably tomorrow. It looks like it's gonna be tomorrow. Is gonna be our NFC East preview team preview starting with the Redskins tomorrow, guys. So the few Redskin fans out there in this world right now, because they're all hiding, you can definitely see what we think about the Redskins in a general gist. We're not going to go through every position in in-depth detail. We just want to go over just the gist of every position and kind of where we see them sitting at and where we see them now after the preseason, and seeing who they held on to, the bigger names, and kind of give you a breakdown of the Redskins. Maybe a 3 to 5 minute breakdown video. And that's just going to be something we're going to put a video. That's not a live stream, guys. Then we're going to do on Wednesday, we're planning on doing the Eagles. So I know Holly Wade, Sixers JT, Eagle fan, and all the rest of you Eagle guys out there, make sure you watch our video. Again, not a live stream, a video. You can put your comments underneath that, in the video. But we're going to have a video on the Eagles probably on Wednesday. And Thursday is going to be our Giants video, which runs in tune with what we're planning, because again, after that Thursday's gonna be Giants, their video, and other stuff we're gonna talk about as well on our live stream. But that's gonna be our regular video. Is gonna be not a live stream. It's gonna be a Giants recap. The same thing for the Redskins, same thing for the Eagles. We're gonna probably do that one on Thursday. On Friday, I'm trying to see if we can get a couple of Giant fans to do some kind of Google Hangout and maybe have a discussion with a couple of Cowboy fans and a couple of Giant fans. Just kind of go through a little back and forth, not as trash talking, but more of a what you think this happens, will this happen? Then when we'll say, well, what if this happens, and just see what their perspective is, some of the Giant fans out there, compared to what some of our perspectives are. So we'll see if we could get something like that hooked up. If not, we'll do it soon, hopefully. But we're looking forward to do that maybe on Friday. On Saturday, I'm going to definitely do my Madden stream to do the Giants-Cowboy matchup. But we're going to talk about them. I'm going to talk about both teams that night as well to prepare us for the big game Sunday night. Yes, with the live stream, guys. So that's going to be exciting.
Yeah. So, guys, I think we are going to go ahead and wrap up the stream here. I think let me go ahead and catch up. It looks like most of you guys are talking fantasy football in the chat, which is awesome. Great to see. Definitely go ahead, make your trades, make your moves, guys.
There is, I want to say something. Guys, there is, again, I don't know, maybe there's like 10 of you out here. If you guys can, join our Survival League, guys. It's fun. If you've ever done it, it's not something you have to take a lot of time in. It's not going to take up a lot of your time. Trust me, just take a look at it. See if you can join it. The description is at the bottom of this. It's in the. I'm sorry, the link is in the description here, but and it's also on yesterday's video as well. It's a link to the Survival League. You pick one team a week. You can never pick the team again. And once you lose that, let's say you pick the Rams this week and you lose, you're out for the season. Or you pick the Redskins this week and they lose, you're out for this. You're done with the competition is done. Only one person will win. We'll see how it goes. Right now, I think we have 7 or 8 people, maybe 9 people in there right now. We can have 100 people in there. So guys, there's no limit. Join up if you guys want. It should be fun. Just follow the link in the description for that. Trade away, guys. All good. I see a lot of talk in there about fantasy football. Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up, guys. Hey, listen, we've been here for an hour. Stay tuned for tomorrow. I'm sure I'll be coming on, going live, and with some breaking news for the Zeke thing.
The second it comes out, guys, we will be on it, so stay tuned.
Yeah, and it's going to be tomorrow, guys, and you might hear from me at 11 or at 12 or 1 or 2. I don't know. If 4:30 comes around and nothing's out yet and I hear confirmation that he's going to play from anywhere, I'm going to be out here. I'm going to report it to you guys ASAP on a quick live stream. And then, of course, 6 or 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Mm-hmm. That's when we're going to hear from the judge in Plano and see what they say about this injunction, this restraining order. If it's approved, then Zeke will be playing for a while until this thing is resolved by the courts, and then we'll see what happens. But 2 things to keep in contact with tomorrow, guys. I will try to be posting that video, or if we're going to try to complete it tonight sometime or tomorrow, and we'll put that Redskin preview for the season up as soon as we can. Tomorrow, sometime in the early part of the day, and then of course throughout we'll be updating you if any breaking news comes, which we know there will be. At least 1, maybe 2, probably 2 breaking news tomorrow, plus a little mini live stream at night regarding all the breaking news that will be. I'll quickly live stream tomorrow afternoon or evening if it has to be. But then later in the evening we'll be having another one of these, or we should be, especially if which we expect a lot of big news coming tomorrow, guys. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. Get ready to see what's coming around the corner, and definitely look forward to what's coming tomorrow. It's a lot of news. So
thank you so much for joining, guys. Shallow Hal, thanks for coming now. How about them Cowboys, Mr. Wright, Elite, Hollyway, Sixers JT. I don't know if I missed anybody, but seriously, thank you every single one of you guys. And as always, don't forget, Oh, Space Cowboy 17, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
And thanks for joining the Survival League as well, guys. Thank
It'll be
you.
fun.
Yes, so, but as always...
What?
I don't know. Oh, I know. Go Cowboys! We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for joining us. Good night.
And remember, guys, free Zeke.
Free Zeke.